Welcome back to another episode of Stand on Guard. I'm still your host, David Krayden, and when I come back, the latest on the "Is Justin Trudeau really that bored with his job?" controversy.
So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need political change, but we also need the resolve to resist.
Yes, and Sasha the Cat always demonstrated. Please ring the bell, like this broadcast, give it the thumbs up, support us in whatever way you can. It's so much appreciated. And thank you for the support you showed yesterday on that show. I was surprised. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I thought, well, there's some news out about this on the mainstream media, but I don't see anything on social media, and my fellow YouTubers aren't doing much with it. So I thought, well, let's get this information out there. And of course, if you watched yesterday, it's the story about Justin Trudeau's now infamous interview with Radio-Canada, en français. It was in French. So every time he does an interview in French, you will note when it's exclusively in French, there's always some controversy arising from it. It was during a French interview that he referred to the Freedom Convoy participants as misogynistic and racist, and the unvaccinated as misogynistic and racist. And he often says things in French that he won't say in English because he thinks nobody's listening outside of Quebec. Well, the BBC was listening, and they ran a story. And you recall we had this up, and the headline was Canada's Justin Trudeau says he thinks daily about leaving crazy job. Now, inside of that story was this: I think about quitting every day. It's a crazy job I'm doing, making the personal sacrifices. It's super boring at times. Now, that's how the BBC reported this story up until yesterday afternoon, probably evening, when they changed the story. They changed the story on us, and we'll get to that in a minute. But, here's the guts of the story. In a 24-minute interview released on Friday with the French language broadcaster, Mr. Trudeau said, "I could not be the man I am and abandon the fight at this point." But then he says, "I think about quitting every day. It's a crazy job I'm doing, making the personal sacrifices, and the leader who has been in office since 2015. Of course, it's super tough. It's super boring at times." So what happened in the interim here? Well, there's been some pushback. I don't know how much pushback the BBC was getting, except there was a column by Chantal Hébert, who was actually historically, and she's been doing this for decades, she's usually quite fair, or has been in the past, but why is she seemingly chomping at the bit to clarify this remark from Justin Trudeau? He said more stupid things than this. Why is this suddenly a language crisis? And he was mistranslated. He would never say that. So I'm disappointed with Chantal. I think she's a better journalist than that. I hope she's a better journalist than that, but she does seem to be carrying water right now for the Prime Minister, and that's very disturbing. So what happened overnight? I think about quitting every day. It's a crazy job I'm doing, making the personal sacrifices, said the leader, who has been in office since 2015. Of course, it's super tough. It's very challenging at times. Yes, challenging is a word Justin Trudeau frequently uses when he's trying to describe a situation that is actually not just challenging, but devastating. When he's describing, for instance, his personal unpopularity, it's challenging. When he's describing the economic catastrophe that is encroaching upon Canada. That's very challenging. When he's describing the incredible opposition he's receiving to his policies on euthanasia and on the Online Harms Act, on censorship, that's very challenging for Justin. So we have included the original Radio-Canada interview in the description below. I invite you to read it if you speak French. Please listen. I find it hard to believe there is a discrepancy this large in this interview. But I encourage you to read it and get it recorded on your machine before it disappears, because that's what censorship is all about in this country. And this smells to me of the usual Trudeau saying somebody pointing out to the great man, this might be embarrassing for you come Monday or Tuesday when question period resumes and you're there, hopefully, if you can find a reason to be there, or if you, most likely he will find a reason not to be there. But of course, Pierre Poilievre is waiting for the opportunity to rise in the House when Trudeau is there. Hopefully he'll wait till Trudeau is there, because this will get under Trudeau's skin, and ask him, are you super bored of your job? Well, if you are, maybe it's time to find something else to do. Maybe it's time to go back to teaching drama, where you used to interact with your students on such a regular basis. Maybe it's time to get back to something else, because if you're bored with your job, obviously there are other things in this world for you. Now, even if Justin Trudeau did not say he was super bored, he can't run away from everything else he said. If he thinks about quitting every day, maybe it's time he did. Let's listen to Pierre Poilievre, who picked up on the story right away. Somebody has some smarts in his communication department, and they said, hey, this is gold. Justin Trudeau is he's super bored, and he wants to quit. Let's listen to what Pierre Poilievre said.
Canadians are not the only ones suffering. Justin Trudeau has it very tough. Did you hear about this? He's a little bit bored. Did you hear about this? Incredible, this quote. I got to read these quotes here for Dave. He said this in French in an interview with Rad Ken. He said, I think about quitting every day. Isn't that funny? We think about firing him every day. Oh, my God. It's a crazy job making the personal sacrifices. Yeah, right. Like flying off to Billionaire Island, burning thousands and thousands of liters of jet fuel at our expense into the atmosphere, and in these $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 vacations he takes. Sounds like a terrible personal sacrifice. I'm quoting here. Of course, it's super tough. It's super boring at times. Wow. The job is boring. Blaine, you don't find your job boring, do you? You know, you find it to be a very invigorating job, because serving the people is not boring. Serving the people is what we do. Right, Blaine?
Yeah, right. Exactly, Pierre. That is what a prime minister is supposed to do. Now, the question I have, and I've got many, not only about the veracity of this quotation, but is the BBC now going to be persona non grata with Justin Trudeau? Are they mad at Justin Trudeau at the BBC? Well, they certainly have been in the past in the UK, because you might recall when Trudeau went to the state funeral for Queen Elizabeth II, who passed away, he decided to go to a bar on the eve of the funeral and to make an attempt to sing Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. He sidled up to the piano and decided he was going to show the world that he was not only a gifted blackface performer, but one hell of a saloon singer. So Justin Trudeau always knows how to capture the attention of the world. And it's funny, he said very little about that, because that was captured on video, and it went around the world so quickly on social media. That's the kind of guy Justin Trudeau is. He just is all about himself. And if he's super bored with his job, it's because he's Justin Trudeau and because there's not enough things exciting him. We have to find more things to excite him, obviously. But I hope he continues to feel like quitting every day because, as Pierre Poilievre said, yes, we do feel like firing him every day because he's doing a very bad job. He has shown ineptitude in this office that is unparalleled in Canadian history. He has shown an egotism and a narcissism that is unparalleled in Canadian history. There has been no other prime minister in my lifetime, and I do believe historically since 1867, who has demonstrated such a lack of concern, empathy, understanding, comprehension of ordinary Canadians. He grew up in a privileged family. He was fortunate to be immersed in an environment where he could speak English and French equally well. He has never understood anybody else in this country who did not share that privilege. And this is why he lashed out with such venom and vehemence against the Freedom Convoy participants, because they were just a bunch of truckers and blue-collar workers, the great unwashed. He had no time for them. And frankly, they probably bored him. And you will recall it was in a French interview where he labeled Freedom Convoy and the unvaxxed as misogynistic and racist. So that is what this man is all about. And I'll tell you what else this man is all about. Keeping your mouth shut, not opposing his policies, not indicating any opposition to what he's doing. Let's have a look at this scene from a Liberal Party fundraiser where Justin Trudeau was at. Look at the extent of security. Look at that. That is absolutely astounding. You know where I saw that the last time? Yeah, let's just feast your eyes on this for a minute. Yeah, it's worth seeing twice. Where did I see that the last time? Well, it was here in Ottawa when Justin Trudeau brutally put down the Freedom Convoy protest with a whole garrison of police from all over the world. They weren't just from Canada or Ontario or Ottawa. There were police forces from around the world there. And he used them to crush the Freedom Convoy opposition, the protest, a peaceful protest. Nobody had a gun. Nobody threatened violence. It was completely peaceful here in Ottawa. In fact, I don't think the citizens of Ottawa had ever had a better time in February. It was better than their damn Winterlude Festival. It was a great time because we were celebrating freedom. We were celebrating our ability to make our own decisions and not to have Justin Trudeau dictate those decisions. But Justin Trudeau likes being a dictator, and he likes to surround himself now with police forces. You saw what they did to Rebel News broadcaster David Menzies. You saw what the RCMP detachment working for Chrystia Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister, you saw what they did to David Menzies. He was just arrested tonight, too. And David is an old friend of mine. We used to work at a media outlet together. And he's a good reporter. And I applaud the work he's doing, and he should not be getting arrested for doing that job. But Justin Trudeau is all about security, security, security. Put the police in your face and intimidate you, and keep your mouth shut. And if the police don't do that, our censorship laws will. Our online harms bill will. The threat of going to jail for life or huge fines or getting house arrest for thought crime, that will keep your mouth shut. That will keep you in line. And that's what Justin Trudeau is all about today. It is an embarrassment on the world scene. But we must continue to fight this tyranny. We must continue to get to the bottom of every story where he is involved, because there's always obfuscation, there's always distraction, and there's always lies. So I hope you enjoyed that update today. If there's more tomorrow, I'll be back. The House is sitting again after 2 weeks. Unfortunately, they're going away again after about a week here. But I will be broadcasting live from the House of Commons over the next week, because I tell you, there's going to be some great moments. And I hope Pierre Poilievre has the opportunity to ask Justin Trudeau about his boredom and about his desire to quit his job as Prime Minister, because I think he could probably find something else to do. Thanks for watching today, and we'll just leave you with this brief extra.
Thank you for watching this episode of Stand on Guard and being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right channel. If you've watched this episode to this point, you've watched it all. And that's really important for a small station like this. We always say subscribe, hit the bell, be a part of the KRAYDEN resistance. Resolve to resist. That's what we're doing. And if you become a subscriber, if you're a supporter of this station or a member through Substack, through YouTube, and now you can be a local as well, that's so important to us, because I couldn't do this without you. I made a decision to become an independent journalist about a year ago because I wanted to bring all of my experience in the military, in journalism, to you. I don't promise anything I can't deliver. I don't offer clickbait. I offer truth. The truth is out there, and it's my job to bring that truth to light and to you. Thanks for being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right resistance.